Tonight, we begin with a quiet story, one that moves gently through stars, through silence, through thoughts that traveled across the universe, and through one man's quiet mind that saw further than anyone before. It is the story of Stephen Hawking, a man who loved the cosmos, who wondered about black holes, about time, about the beginning of everything, and who became one of the greatest thinkers in the history of human understanding. There's no need to hurry through this story. Let it unfold slowly, like the slow drift of light through the vastness of space. As you listen, imagine the night sky, empty, peaceful, full of stars that have watched over Earth for billions of years. And imagine a quiet mind moving through that vastness, asking questions and finding answers in the silence between the stars. Tonight, we follow his journey, from a quiet childhood in England to a life of discovery that still inspires the world today. Stephen Hawking was born in 1942 in Oxford, England. He was born into a quiet home, under a wide sky where the nights were dark and the stars were bright. From the beginning, Stephen seemed to notice the world with unusual care. While other children might have played loudly, Stephen was the kind of child who watched, who listened, who wondered. He was fascinated by how things worked, by clocks, by machines, by the idea that there might be rules that governed the world, and that those rules could be understood if one only paid attention. He loved to ask questions, many questions. Why does the world move the way it moves? Why do the stars shine? What is time? And does it have a beginning or an end? These questions were not just curiosity. They were the beginning of a life's work, a life that would be shaped by the mystery of the universe and the dream of understanding it, one quiet thought at a time. His parents encouraged his curiosity. They valued learning. They believed in the importance of knowledge. And though life was not always easy, their love for understanding was strong. It was a love that would stay with Stephen through all the years ahead. In the quiet of his childhood, under the stars, a young boy began to dream of a future where he could understand the deepest secrets of space and time. As the years passed, Stephen's fascination with the universe only grew stronger. He was not searching for fame. He was not searching for recognition. He was searching for understanding. He wanted to know how the world worked. He wanted to understand the mysteries of space, of time, of the very beginning of everything. He wanted to learn and to help others through the quiet, steady power of thought. That dream took shape slowly, the way many important dreams do. It was not rushed, it was not forced. It simply kept returning to him year after year until it became part of who he was. He studied physics, he studied mathematics, he studied the laws that govern the movement of stars and the flow of time itself. He noticed things others did not. He saw patterns. He saw possibilities. And he began to imagine something larger. A world where the universe could be understood through careful thought, through patience, through the quiet power of the mind. That dream was not loud. It was not dramatic. It was gentle, steady, and full of hope. In the quiet of his thoughts, in the stillness of his mind, a future began to take shape, one that would lead him into the deepest questions about the nature of reality itself. As Stephen began his university studies, a challenge appeared, one that would change the course of his life in ways he could not have imagined. He was diagnosed with a rare illness, one that would slowly take away his ability to move, to speak, to do the things that most people take for granted. The doctors were not hopeful. They told him he had only a few years to live. But Stephen did not give up. He did not let the illness stop him. He did not let it define him. He continued to think. He continued to ask questions. He continued to believe in the power of his mind. There is something deeply calming about a person who refuses to let difficulty win. It gives others hope. It gives the future hope. It gives the world hope. Stephen was that kind of person, quiet, steady, determined, and slowly, his mind, his imagination, and his quiet strength began to bring him closer to discoveries that would change science forever. Stephen Hawking spent long hours thinking, sometimes waiting patiently for breakthroughs that would only reveal themselves after much time and care. He was not in a hurry. He understood that the universe had its own rhythm, and that real discovery comes to those who are willing to follow it. He imagined new ways to understand black holes, those mysterious places in space where gravity is so strong that not even light can escape. He thought about time, about the beginning of the universe, about the laws that govern everything. And slowly, piece by piece, his ideas began to take shape. He discovered that black holes are not completely black. They emit radiation. They slowly lose energy. They change over time. This discovery changed everything. It changed how we understand black holes. It changed how we understand the connection between matter and energy and the very fabric of space itself. But just as important as the discovery itself was the way Stephen made it. He did not force the truth. He let it appear naturally through patience and imagination. That is part of what makes his story so peaceful and so powerful. He showed that careful thinking is a form of respect, and that respect can lead to deep understanding. Imagine Stephen sitting quietly, his mind moving through the cosmos, thinking about stars, about black holes, about the beginning of time. A thought sparks, an idea takes shape, a new understanding emerges, each small moment connected to the others in ways that only time can reveal. These moments were not loud, but they were profound. They changed science. They changed how we see the universe. And all of it began with a quiet mind and an imagination that traveled far beyond the limits of the body. Of course, Stephen's path was not always easy. His illness continued to progress. He lost the ability to move. He lost the ability to speak. He had to rely on a machine to help him communicate with the world. But Stephen did not let this stop him. He continued to work. He continued to think. He continued to believe in the power of his ideas. There is a quiet strength in that kind of perseverance. It does not need to shout. It simply keeps going. Stephen's story reminds us that being limited does not define a person. What defines a person is how they respond. He responded with discipline, with creativity, with unwavering belief. And because he remained faithful to his vision, his discoveries carried even more weight. He showed that the mind can be free even when the body is not. That thought can travel even when movement is limited. That is a powerful kind of strength, one that can endure and eventually transform understanding. As the years passed, Stephen's work continued to change the world. His discoveries about black holes opened new doors in science, in our understanding of the universe, in our understanding of time itself. He became known as one of the greatest physicists in the history of humanity. His ideas were used to understand the beginning of the universe, the nature of space, and the deepest mysteries of existence. He wrote a book, A Brief History of Time. It became one of the most famous science books ever written. It was read by millions. It inspired countless people to look up at the stars and wonder. And he never stopped dreaming. He imagined new questions. He imagined new answers. He imagined a universe that was deeper, more mysterious, more beautiful than anyone had ever imagined. Some of these ideas are still being explored today. They are not fully understood, but they planted seeds that will grow into the future. Imagine the moment when Stephen first understood that black holes emit radiation in the quiet of his mind, in the stillness. A new truth emerged, a new understanding appeared, and the universe became a little less mysterious and a little more knowable. That insight was not loud, it was not dramatic, but it was profound. It changed science, it changed how we see the cosmos, and it changed the way people think about the universe forever. All of it began with a quiet mind and an imagination that traveled far beyond the limits of the body. Stephen Hawking's life did not end with discovery. Over time, he became deeply devoted to sharing his ideas, to inspiring others, and to helping the world understand the beauty of science. He believed that knowledge should be accessible. He believed that curiosity should be welcomed. He believed that science could be a force for good in the world. He wrote books, he gave lectures, he encouraged young people to follow their own dreams of discovery. He told them to look up at the stars and wonder. His legacy became more than science. It became a call to attention, to curiosity, to compassion, and to responsibility. This part of his story is especially peaceful because it shows how a life rooted in curiosity can become a life of service. Stephen did not simply discover for himself. He discovered for the world. He encouraged others to do the same. And in that way, his work reached far beyond the laboratory. It touched schools, it touched families, it touched hearts around the world. Stephen Hawking's story is one of imagination, curiosity, quiet courage, and deep care for the world. He began as a young man in England with a mind that dreamed of the cosmos and became someone whose discoveries still help us understand the deepest mysteries of the universe today. His life shows us that great change does not always come from speed or force. Sometimes it comes from waiting, thinking, and caring deeply enough to imagine what others might miss. That is a gentle lesson, but it is also a lasting one. His legacy continues in the scientists who study the universe, in the students who choose to learn even when the path is difficult, in every person who looks up and wonders about the stars, and in every person who believes that the mind can travel far beyond the limits of the body. Stephen's life reminds us that a calm and attentive mind can leave a wide ripple across the world. And as the universe grows quiet and the evening deepens, we can remember his story as a quiet gift, one that teaches us that patience, curiosity, and care can change everything.